25th when he gets here. And I am inviting you to call in to the show. The number is 602 666 6027. That's 602 666 6027. So today, we want to be able to take a look at a few things. Hello, how are you? That are about the harvest. And one of them is now I'm going to tell you, I do not know the name, how to say this, but it's the beginning of harvest is called Lanask, or it's spelled Lammas. And I bring this into our show today because we can't even imagine, even in our worst of storms, not having a support system to bring in the crops, to be able to give us support even in the hurricanes. We're constantly needing and being supplied with all of those things. So I wanted to take a look at what it was like in the ancient days and some of the celebrations that there were. In our modern world, it's often easy to forget the trials and tribulations our ancestors had to endure. And for us, if we need a loaf of bread, we simply drive over to the local grocery store and buy a few bags of prepackaged bread. And if we run out, it's no big deal because we just hop in our car and get more. But when our ancestors lived hundreds and thousands of years ago, the harvesting and processing of grain was crucial. If crops were left in the fields too long or the bread not baked in time, families starved, died. And taking care of one's crops meant the difference between life and death. There, of course, was no insurance back then. So, by celebrating Lamas, or however you say that, any pagan people that know the correct way to say that, please feel free to call in and talk about it and give me the correct way to say it. But it's honoring our ancestors and the hard work that they had to do in order to survive that we talk about today. What are the symbols of the harvest? Well, a few of them would be sickles and um, as well as other symbols of harvesting. How many times have we seen sickles hanging on the outside of houses with orange leaves and beautiful bouquets of autumn in them? Grapes and vines. Did you know that that also is a pagan symbol of the harvest? Dried grains, sheaves of wheat, bowls of oats, corn dolls. You can make these easily using dried husks. Can you imagine giving your child a dried husk for Christmas? Well, I can't imagine. Early fall vegetables such as squash and pumpkins are also symbols of autumn harvest. And late summer fruits like apples, plums, and peaches are also symbols of the harvest. So, what were some of the holidays back then? Well, celebrating grain in ancient cultures, in the Viking cultures, in the cultures that we love to see wonderful adventures of on TV. Grain has held a place of civilization back nearly in the beginning of time. Grain became associated with the cycle of death and rebirth. The Sumerian god was slain, and his lover grieved so heartily that nature stopped producing and mourning and following him to the underworld to bring him back, similar in other stories. In Greek legend, the grain god was Adonis, two goddesses, Aphrodite and, oh my goodness, these words, I wish I knew them. Persephone battled for love. To end the fighting, Zeus ordered to spend 6 months in the underworld and the rest with Aphrodite. There was a feast of bread in early Ireland. It was a bad idea to harvest your grain any time before Lammas. It meant that the previous year's harvest had run out early, and that was a serious failing in agriculture communities. However, on August 1st, the first sheaves of grain were cut by the farmer, and by nighttime, his wife had made the first loaves of bread of the season. The word Lammas derives from an Old English phrase, and it means, translated, loaf mass. In early Christian times, the first loaves of the season were blessed by the church. So, honoring Lugh, the skillful god, in some Wiccan and modern pagan traditions, Lammas was also a day of honoring the Celtic craftsman god. He is a god of many skills and was honored in various aspects by societies, both in the British Isles and in Europe. So, honoring the past, honoring the hard times that they went through having harvest and bringing in the crops, through the deaths that they had to go through, and the starvation and famine during droughts that we have in our modern times without all of the things that we have. Can you imagine the hurricanes that must have come on the shores? I don't know if there were any like we are going to experience in Florida or Texas, but can you imagine how horrendous it must have been with no way of having a shelter to go to be able to protect their families, their livestock? It must have been, well, it would be their way of being, having their whole society, their whole civilization wiped out. So I can't even imagine what it would be like right now with and I want to send blessings to the people that are undergoing the beginnings of the horrendous hurricane at 180 miles an hour. How frightening it must be to know that your home could be, well, taken away in a minute after investing your entire life or all of your money and savings into it, all of your property, your pictures. And being in the Midwest, I always say we endure the tornadoes, but the tornadoes just kind of are spotty. They come in, they wipe out everything in a town, and many people die. But also, it's not like it is with the hurricanes on the shores where you have to undergo so much devastation in such a wide spread place. So I invite you, any of you that may be going through bad times, any of you that would like a calming reading during this time, please do call in to the show. I am here for you. I welcome you. I know that for many of you, it's got to be tough times. We have a call from Utah. We have a call from Florida from Julia. And we have Annette from Boston. Again, we are waiting for Joseph, and I have not seen him yet, and I'm sure he will get in when at all possible. So until that time, I'm going to take our first caller, and that would be from Utah. Hello, how are you today? Hello? Hello? Are you there, my Utah caller?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Can you hear me?
I can. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. And I'm going to ask you some questions. But first of all, you have a story, and your story is vital. And please know I don't mean to interview you, but you have a very vital story that is important to the psychic field. And I want
Thank you.
to, you don't even have to give me your real name if you want, because I believe that other people need to know your story. And if you don't mind, I'd like you just to take a nice big breath. And I'd like you to tell me your story, what you have undergone through readings, and I will sure read for you. But you're a fascinating person, and I don't mean to interview you if it's not with your permission. But I believe you have a powerful message for all of us, and it's a lot of it to do with well, let's just hear your story. Could you please give it to me? You can give me your first name, or you can give me a name that is not real. I don't care. One way or another, I'm reading your energy. So tell me what your name is and what is your story here.
My name is Aiden James.
Hello,
And,
Aiden.
What would you like me to start with?
I would like you to start out with what you, first of all, um, the beginning of why you started to call psychics. And I think it's a very important message because of the, well, I'll let you go on. I don't want to jump
Okay.
in.
No, that's great. That's great. Starting there is, I think, a great place. Okay, so I believe in my heart.
Could you talk a little bit louder or more closely into your um, phone, maybe?
Yeah. Is that better? Can you hear me now?
A little better,
Is
yeah.
that better?
Yeah, a little better, yeah.
I believe very strongly in true love. And I've never been in love before. And recently I found the girl that I want to spend the rest of my life with. And it has been a roller coaster, to say the least. Man, it has been up and down. It has been volatile. It's been passionate. It's been beautiful.
Hello.
Okay, one moment, honey. Just a minute. Hi, Joseph. I'm interviewing a man here, and we're just going to listen.
That's
Okay.
fine. Sure,
Okay.
that's fine.
All right. Go ahead,
Okay,
hon.
bye-bye.
Go ahead. He's telling your story, his story. So go on.
Go ahead.
Okay, and her name is Jaylee. So she and I have.
Okay, a little closer to the speaker there. You were loud there for a minute, and it kind of went away.
We started as friends, and that friendship quickly turned into more than just a friendship. And we both realized it immediately that we had found someone that matched us really well, and we had found what we were looking for out of a relationship in a lot of ways. And it was like crazy because I was engaged to a girl. I thought I was going to marry her. I didn't actually propose at that point, but I was like, I bought the ring and all this stuff. And then that night that I was going to propose, I had this super strong feeling to call it off. And so I did. I called it off. And that night I met Jaylee. And she said something to the extent of, hey, do you have a stupid Valentine for tonight? And I was like, I don't. And she dropped me her address. And I went and I picked her up and we went to sushi that night. And I wasn't super broken up over my relationship that I just got out of because I knew it was wrong. It never felt 100% right. Anyway, that night that I met Jaylee, I had this overwhelming feeling that she is someone I could be happy with forever. And I needed to protect and love her. So I did. We ended up kissing that night and things started really taking off. And things were amazing. Well, we would get into it every once in a while, and she would say things like, I don't feel safe with you emotionally, and there's too many red flags, and she's young and doesn't really know what she wants all the way, and I know what I want. Anyway, it went off and on for about 1 year and 7 months. We were off and on. Well, the reason I started talking to psychics was one of my friends had told me about this lady named Jade, and that she was like this amazing lady that could totally help you and give you ideas and advice. So I started calling her and started doing readings. The first time me and Bailey broke up, like for good, when Jaylee said, when Jaylee said that it was over and she blocked me, and she was like, it was done. I called this Jade lady and she started giving me a lot of advice. She was like true. I knew she was true because she never asked me for tons of money, and it wasn't like ever pushy or anything like that. And by the way, if anyone's listening, true psychics do not ask you for thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars because of negative energy or whatever. That's just bogus. They can't reunite you with lovers. They can't reunite you with lovers overnight or in 5 hours. If you see things like that, run. And take it from me, because I've spent over $5,000 trying to do that and got scammed.
How did it start out? Can I ask you, where did you find these scamming people? Were they in newspapers or what?
No, just the internet, you know. Me and Jade fell out of contact because she moved to San Diego. So we couldn't no longer really talk except for on the phone, and she got really busy and I was working, and I make custom suits for a living, so that's what I do. And I used to be an actor and a model in Hollywood. I know it's crazy as it sounds, but I was, and I feel like I've had a lot of experience in my life that has, you know, shaped me to be who I am. I'm a very religious person. I believe in God, and I started going down this really dark path where I was almost kind of an addiction, where I was trying to get help. All I was really looking for was somebody to help me and give me real advice and give me truth, and I wasn't getting it.
But you were looking. But you had, when I first talked to you, you said that. Where did you? What kind of so that our audience knows by what your experience is, what is it that you were attracted to when you thought that these psychics could reunite you? Was there a title? Was there a
just a quick fix? Reunite lover, instant reunition of lovers, or whatever that was. Then the word twin flame came up, and I felt super strongly this girl was my twin flame. And I don't really know if that's a true thing or whatnot, but I do know that it's not. I'm not 100% sure if it's over. I'd love for you guys to tell me towards the end of this what you think about everything. But to kind of speed this up so I can finish my story real quick so you guys can talk to other people as well, I'll just say this. After about $5,800 worth of paying online psychics and getting no result at all, I've come to the conclusion that whatever's supposed to happen is just going to happen. Right. And there is a man named Jesus Christ who died on the cross for all of our sins. And he died for our struggles and our pain. And that's who we need to trust. We can have people who give us ideas about life, such as real psychics or people who have great intuition. But those are more of guides. They're not going to control the future.
You always have free will. You always have free will, and the future is changeable according to your wise actions.
I agree 100%, and I'm learning that more and more. A wholeness attracts wholeness. And the problem with me and her is we weren't 100% whole. And we're trying to figure that out right now. But if I could just say to anyone who's on the phone right now, if you see someone that says, hey, I can do this and that, and it's going to take an hour or 2 hours or 5 days or 10 days, run.
How much did you pay for How much did you pay for a session like that?
So the way they do it, it's very, very manipulative. It's very quick, $75 for a quick reading or $200 for a quick reading, up to $200. And then they come back to you and they say things like, oh, brother, there's a lot of negativity here, and I'm the only one who can do this, and you need to listen to me. And I don't know if I have bipolar, but I felt in my life that I may have struggled with some sort of issue with that. Sometimes I do things like I'll go and I'll spend a lot of money, and I'll feel really, really confident, and I'll get really down. I don't really know what it is. It could just be life. Well, one night I went and I spent this lady told me it was $900 that I needed to turn the negative into positive, and it was going to cost $900. So I went and I got $900 on my bank account, and I sent it to her. I never heard from her again.
Oh, no.
She changed her phone number. She
Oh
changed her phone
no.
number. I never heard from her again. And the thing is
So
that these
she
people
was
are
taking advantage of the fact that you were so deeply in love. And and
absolutely,
did she have a caption saying reunite lovers?
yeah, all of them have. Every one of them have. And the thing that I've learned more and more, and what, I'm not bitter about this. I look at everything in life as in a stride, like a race. This is a stride that I had to go through, and I've decided that I needed it. I needed it to fully trust my Savior and God, and really feel their love. Because when I felt their love, there's nothing like that. No psychic can give you that. And I don't know if it's over with this girl. I'd love to tell you guys about the last part about what happened, and you guys can give me some advice potentially.
Why
But
don't we just take it, we could just take it from here and then you can tell us, okay?
yeah, can I say one more thing? I want to finish
Oh,
with this.
absolutely. Okay.
This is the
Okay.
last thing I want to say about that topic is if you want to find someone who can help you with your life in a spiritual way, a healer, a psychic, whatever you call them, a life coach, find somebody who gets paid by the session. Find somebody who does it very, very right, like with a PayPal account. Avoid any Western Union or MoneyGram or Walmart to Walmart. Any of that is fake. You don't work with people like that. You find people who have reviews, who are reliable, who are good human beings. Because the thing is I started doing some research because my dad always called me the digger. And the digger means I love to learn and understand things. So I started doing some research, and I realized what I found is that there was this cult in Romania of gypsies, of women that have migrated over to the United States, and they all work in the same group. And they do these things like reunite lovers, all that stuff. And they're actually here in America just ripping people off all day and all night. They
You
don't
know what,
have
honey? A lot of them have bought psychic lines now. They're no longer traveling in gypsy wagons. Some of those places are starting little psychic lines. And, like you said, a reputable psychic line, like I think Keen is a good one. And I think that, Best Psychics is a good one. But don't you think, Joseph, that a lot of those people have,
Okay. I really cannot hear him except for just a little bits and pieces because he's
oh,
just not coming. I'm not getting that audio through. So I
huh.
don't know if anybody else can hear him
Yeah,
either.
I
I
can
don't know.
hear him real well. I can hear him real
Okay,
well.
but I can't. I
Oh,
could
Joseph,
barely
would you
only
like
certain parts. So I really that's why I haven't said anything. Um,
okay.
the gist of it is, from what I can tell, from what I heard, is that yeah, there
Do,
are psychics that and actually there are some people that actually are actually quite good, but actually they're just awful people, and they've kind of lost sight of what why why they're doing it in the first place. And I actually, as being on Keen, I do remember one of these what we call them rogue psychics, where they would call other people. They would call other people on on the service, all other psychics, and then they'd give the reader a hard time. And there's one in particular, and I had her 3 times, and she had called me. The last time she spoke to me, she cut me off and said, "What? I don't know what you're talking about," and all this other kind of stuff. And you're awful. And she also left me an awful reading. I didn't have a chance to speak, and she was just really terrible. And then she claimed to be a tarot reader herself.
hmm
And I saw who she was, and I reported her actually. And they said, "Well, you kind of have to prove it." And I said, "Well, I have to prove that she called me. It shows that she
Right.
called. This is another member. It's not another person who's, this is another person." And actually, she had given me an awful review, and she was the only person who did, and I never actually did read for her. She also claimed that I blocked her, which I did because I wasn't going to let her call me back.
Well, the
You
reason that
know,
we are interviewing
yeah.
this guy is because he spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on
Oh no.
psychics who said that they would reunite him with his true love. And so
Oh,
that's what we're reading on to, or that's what we're interviewing him on, and that's why he's on the show to tell
so
people.
they claim that they have the power to get them back together again.
Yeah,
Is
and
that?
what he's done is told us, our listeners, what to look for when these people say that they will reunite you, and never to pay $900 for a session that
Oh
you
no, no, yeah,
no. But the thing is,
no.
he's a professional suit maker. He's been a
Uh-huh.
model. He's been a professional, and he's not a dummy.
I went to
But
the Oscars like 2 years ago for movies in Hollywood. I mean, yeah, I appreciate that, and I'm not a dummy, and that's the thing is, I'm not a dummy, but
he says he's not a dummy. I have to tell him he can't hear
I
you.
made such
Oh yeah,
I
it's
made
you know I
such
it's
dumb
it sounds like
I made
he's
such dumb
yelling through a
decisions.
pillow, talking through a pillow or
Uh,
something. It's really kind of sounds very far away. I could only hear bits and
Yep,
pieces of
yep.
it, and I think it
All
has to do with my own connection. Yeah, here,
yeah.
because
Okay,
so, and I just wanted to say this really quick though. These
uh-huh.
people are so good. They're so good. It's insane how good they are at manipulating and lying to you to get
Okay,
you to give them your money.
there you go. I can
And
hear your
they
voice
will,
now. I can hear you. Can you hear him now, Joseph?
no,
they will,
not
Oh,
well at all.
okay.
Here,
Okay.
so these
So
people
so
will, they
I
will
heard him
lie
say.
to
It
you.
almost sounded like you said, "You're good" or "They're
no,
pretty
he
good"
said
or
they're so good at manipulating you. They're
"Oh
so good at
yeah,
taking your money.
yeah."
They're professionals at it. You know, I mean, I think of like Jason Bourne, the movie, and I think of how professional he was at everything he did. He was a professional assassin, trained. He had to kill people. This people's motive is to get your money. They
Okay,
have
whatever
no
you
other
did, excuse
reason.
me, just whatever you're doing right now, your voice came in clear. So stay where you're at when you talk, where you're at now, okay?
Okay, okay. Can you hear
There
me
you
now?
go. Now I
So
can
yeah,
hear you perfectly.
perfect. Okay, so just to finalize that, when it comes down to it, these people are like doctors. They've studied. They
Oh, you're
understand
so
people.
right.
They'll manipulate you. They'll make you feel like there's no hope. That they're the only
Uh,
ones who can do it. And then they'll tell you things like, "Oh, I'm sorry that that happened to you. I'm gonna change. Give me a chance. Don't compare me to the other ones. Give me a chance." And then for me, I kind of just got in this mode where I had a lot of money and I didn't really care. And I was like, I want this back. I want this back. But let me explain something that I will explain. I paid this one lady. Her name was Jennifer. And about 2 months after I paid her, the ex that I love called me. And Jennifer called me that same night, as well as an apostle from the Mormon church. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but I'm good friends with one of the apostles, and all of them told me that there was a power that was happening. Bailey said that there was something that she felt like a reason to call, and the psychic said that she had put a spell on Bailey. And so I
Mm.
started really believing it at that point. I was like, man, this works. Holy smokes. That was my first real encounter with the online psychics. Jade wasn't
But
an online psychic. She was a referral. She was legit. I still stand by her. If we ever talk again, things will be great, I'm sure. She's just been traveling. Anyway, I started believing in all that. And it was just, but the truth is it wasn't them. It was just all a coincidence, and it was God's timing, and it needed to happen. So it ended up happening. But to kind of get to my story with Bailey, we've been off and on for a year and 7 months, me and Jaylee, and we just, it's high and it's low, and it's a cycle like the moon. And the last time this happened, she blocked me from everything and deleted me and said that she loved me, but it was never going to work. And then a month later, we were in contact. And this time, she's blocked my phone number. I can't even talk to her. She told me she loved me, sent me all these messages, and told me that I was her best friend, and she would only remember the good things about us. And I haven't
Well,
talked to
that's
her
a beautiful thing, though. That's a very good thing, wouldn't you say?
I haven't talked to her in about 4 weeks. I got really drunk with some friends, and I called her a couple of times, and she said, if you call me anymore, I don't want to have to take any other action, but I will. And she was drunk too, and we all say stupid things when we're drunk, so I know she didn't mean that. But at the end of the day, she's not in my life right now, and that hurts. It's really hard. But I do know and believe that God knows that she made me happy. God knows that I made her happy, and he's brought her back 5 times to me. Not a psychic, the Lord. When I've got my life in the right place and started doing the things I needed to do, started making more money, doing the things I needed to do, she came back on her own. So just know if it's supposed to be, it'll be, and I guess that's the end of that. But I'd love to just finish by saying only trust people who have a PayPal account, who are in the best psychic directory online in Google. You can find them there, and they have reviews and descriptions about them. That's a really good place to start. Because anybody who's good at anything won't do it for free. A lot of these online psychics too, they'll do a reading for you for like 20 minutes for free.
Oh, that's
and then that's how they get
That's
you.
a lot to do for free.
That's to suck you in. That's to suck you in.
That's to suck you in. Yep. And then once you're sucked in, it's like they almost have control over you. And another thing, they can't curse you. If you ever talk to someone like that and they say, well, if you don't pay me, I'm going to place this curse on you, you just
bad
luck with life.
Well, so it sounds like a witch, like a mean old, like a bad witch, like not like a good witch, but actually we're not witches either. But that's a terrible thing to do to somebody, is to threaten them like that, because
force your
well.
will.
Well, the thing
I
is,
think they live.
it's
I think
certainly
they
a
live in fear.
misuse of an ability, because the personalities, if there is an ability there, like say if there is, because I know that there are some people that are better at flim flam and better at acting, and sometimes there are people that when they could see you, they are able to figure out so many things without really using any sort of ability or any skill, other than like I could really smell out a trick coming my way. But it's
Right.
sort of
And they're very
it's sort of,
vague.
but
They're
there's always
so
going to be
vague.
people like that. And I don't think anybody should really charge those prices. I mean, I certainly wouldn't cost somebody for that
Okay,
price.
guys,
And
we've got
yeah.
20 minutes left, and we've got other people. So
Okay, yeah, sorry.
I
I just want to ask you guys a couple questions, if you can read for me for just a sec. Do you guys
Okay.
see this? Do you guys see this pattern with me and Jaylee being over, or do you see her coming back like always? If you
I
see
would
her
have
coming
to,
back,
okay, so I'm going to look real quick at her first name, and then I'll hand it over to Joseph. Joseph,
Okay.
this is what I see, and this is what comes up.
Alrighty.
One of the things that comes up is that for whatever reason, it shows that she's had a very rough past, and that there is a sense that she does not, it's almost like she self-sabotages her own happiness. There's a feeling that she is a good girl, but she also is not used to people that are good to her. And so, on one hand, she's addicted to your goodness. On the other hand, she runs from it. It's almost as if the people that have been good to her in her life have somehow destroyed her or been people that hurt her. So Do I feel she will come back into your life off and on and off and on in this pattern? Yes. But do realize that the reason she's doing this is because she is a victim of her own growing up. The people that have deceived her, hurt her, kind of like those psychics that promised you reunion. And so my feeling is that's what I have. Joseph, what do you have?
Well,
That's
I
really
am
good. Thank you.
seeing, I'm seeing definitely in the past is reflected, by the problems I'm hearing. And funny thing is, the sun comes up upside down, reflected in the past and the recent past, and this is all these stuff. And I'm seeing a lot of creativity being suppressed by being in a bad mood or a dark mood or depression, and this is something that is. It's a total lack of failure and a lack of clear thinking. So this falls into pretty much, I think, what Anne Marie was saying about her was that I'm seeing that there was a betrayal, and she has always had um, other people. She's always had some sort of a problem with this, and but I'm seeing it working out. I'm seeing things. I'm seeing the Eight of Wands here. That's what I picked up is the Eight of Wands right side up, and I do see that now this month. Not this month because this is 9, but I would say between the next 8, it's eights in terms of time. If you want to know when things are going to start working out, I would say between now and over the next 8 months, okay, is going to improve. I do see that you're going to be making a decision, and you're going to take action to resolve the matter. You're going to figure this out. You're going to make a decision. Now, I don't know exactly what it's going to be, but I do know it's going to be the correct one. And you're going
Do
to be
you
in a
do you see?
position that you have to move quickly. So it's going to be one of those
Yeah.
decisions that you won't really have time to think about, but you're going to do
Right.
all right. And I'm seeing that things are going to work out. Now, when I see wands, I'm seeing this as pertaining to work. I'm seeing this pertaining to your livelihood, and you're being encouraged to plan very carefully because there's an opportunity coming your way, and it is between now and the next 8 months.
And I
But
would and I would add to that because we've got bunches of people in line
yeah, yeah,
that you are somebody that has a huge amount of gratitude for others that are good to you, that you are a person that has respect from others as well as from her, and that you have a telepathic deep connection with her that yes she feels. And interestingly, I'm going to tell you something funny about telepathic love. When you close the door, it often and you go, okay, thy will be done. Let God or your angels or whatever bring it to you and say, I'm going to put this in your lap and I'm not going to worry about it anymore. A funny thing happens when you close that telepathic door and you put it in the hands of God and your angels. There is a sense that that other person can feel that door closed and they panic, and the next thing you know they're at your door, they're calling you. So honey, we have to end. We've got calls from Hawaii and Florida we got to take, but thank you
Okay.
so much for calling and telling us your story and warning people about not falling for what
yeah.
you did. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and the issue is going to be resolved. I mean, these issues are going to work out, and it's going to be between now and the next 8 months. And it is going to be very recent because I only did a 3 card spread. Just this is the more like the immediate future, close future, not 8 years. I would say 8 months at the very latest. But I would say over the next month or so, you're going to start noticing that it's working out. You are
Okay.
going to work this out. You are going to do this, really, because it's going to happen, and these issues will become easier to work out. You'll
In the
see.
meanwhile, put it in the hands of God and your angels and quit calling psychics.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Because I'm saying that because even psychics can only do so much, and psychics can read for you. But if you trust in that if you put it in the hands of spirit, and like you said, just let it happen. Believe that what's the better good for you is going to happen. Okay.
You go with your
Thank you
gut
so
feeling.
much.
Go
You're
with your
welcome.
feeling. Yeah.
Yes. All right, thank you,
Appreciate you
babe.
guys. I just
Take
want to say
care.
thank you. Yeah, and
I wish I could hear. I could only hear him just in
Okay,
bits and pieces. It was very hard.
we've got to take the next call, hon.
Okay, hon, go on.
Okay. Julia. Hello, Julia from Florida.
Yes.
How are you?
Hi.
Are you
Oh
waiting for
dear.
the big storm to set in, Julia? How's
Yes,
it looking
as
over
a matter of
there?
fact. We had a little rain earlier today, but it's calmed down now. I've already been out, filled up my gas tank, got some water, trying to prepare a little bit.
Wow.
But, so far so good. I'm up in the central Florida area, so,
So you won't
nothing
be
is
hurt
really
by it
going
as
on
much
here. It's
then,
just
correct?
preparing. Well,
Great.
hopefully, but yeah.
Okay, so
Whew,
what can we
wow.
do for you today?
Well, I've got a birthday coming up in 2 weeks, not this Saturday, but next. So I was hoping for some
Congratulations.
insights, kind of what's coming up. So yeah.
All right. Joseph.
I cannot hear
Oh,
the
she's got
callers.
her
They're
name
just
is Julia, and she
okay.
has a birthday coming up, and she
Hi,
wants a
Julia.
birthday reading. I'll do a quick one, and then you can follow.
Okay, alrighty.
Julia
Birthday
is
reading.
Oh,
having a
Ann Marie.
birthday, and this is a birthday reading, real quick, Julia, because we only have 12 minutes.
Okay,
Oh
And
dear.
Julia,
I
here's what
understand.
it says. At this particular time, you need to get out more and communicate with people that are more like you. Your reading says that you've been going through kind of some anxiety or tension, and that your reading says you need to be around people who you trust and who give back to you as much as you give to them. In your birthday reading says a good year for you to try to join groups or be around people that you love, or that you make friends with people that are authentically good people. This is the year to stay away from people who walk their talk, who talk but don't walk their walk. And it says, but let a red flag wave if you start to notice that somebody is not being authentic to you. What do you have, Joseph?
I'm seeing. Well, yeah, I pulled up the Wheel of Fortune.
Oh, Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah, it almost sounds like we're on a game show, but actually, it
Yeah.
means that it means that the change is in the air for you, and actually, it's the Wheel of Fortune. It's going. Things are just going to roll, and actually, it's a reminder. It's a reminder for you to live in the now. As this is what that card tells us. It says, live in the now. You should count your blessings, and you should realize that there's a great part of life that is beyond our control and your control. And that is okay because you're being encouraged to just roll with it and think positively. And I would say, you're being encouraged, of course, to continue to follow your goals and follow your dreams, because even though we have no control over things, and we really don't, anything could happen at any given time. And so you're being encouraged to live in the now because sometimes you tend not to.
Mhm.
And this card is saying life is good, enjoy yourself, and really see the wonderful things that you have. A lot of people just simply don't know what they have, they don't appreciate it, or they take it for granted. And so it's time to really be thankful for all these things. And I would say, you're being encouraged to be bold, and to take a first step. If there's someone you want to call them. Don't sit there and wait. You're being told, live, do it,
Yes, get
and
out, communicate, live,
that's what this tells you to do. And
and
so, happy birthday! You can get out there and
get out
have some
there.
fun because it won't just go plop on your lap. It might. Someone might just take you out, but that's okay too.
Bye, Julia. Thank you.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
It's just as awful. I can't hear people.
Oh, darn. All right, our next call is from Hawaii, and hey, sweetheart, how you doing? Hello.
Oh, I don't hear anybody. Yeah.
Hey,
Well,
is it me?
it's
Um,
you.
Oh.
It's you.
okay.
Say your name, because
Okay.
I always try.
Okay.
I know it's a Hawaiian name, and I can't. Say it. How do you say it again?
Ku'ule.
Kuule. Kuule.
Ku'ule. Uh-huh. Kind of like
Okay.
Kool-Aid. Ku'ule.
Okay.
Okay,
It
I know
sounds
we're
kind of
short
like
on
Kool
time,
Aid.
so yeah, sounds like Kool-Aid. So, I have a friend named Pete, and I'm wondering, is our friendship going to turn into a romantic relationship?
And the name is Peach.
Pete, as in
Peach.
no, Pete as in Peter.
Oh, Peter.
Pete. Okay. Oh,
Oh,
you heard
Peter.
that.
I heard
You
Peter.
heard
I
Yeah,
heard
I was
that.
going to
Yeah.
say.
At first, I thought I heard
Yeah, okay.
Peach, and she sounds very far away. And it's very scratchy. It's very odd. But
Ah,
so,
okay.
uh, you and Pete.
Pete, is it
What?
going to turn into a romantic relationship?
Oh, okay. Will this be romantic? Okay.
Mm. I actually have some pretty good stuff, but what you got?
Yeah. Well, I do see that what we got here. I mean, I need to reshuffle this because I got stickiness here. I don't know what's going on. Hang on a second. And it's really awful. We're not having a good tech day here, and I just don't get it.
Uh-uh.
I don't get that.
I was not. I was
Yeah,
having problems too getting on.
I don't understand it. Okay.
Okay, you want me to start?
Yeah, because I just laid them all out. Yeah. Okay.
Here's what I have, baby doll. We just got another caller, Tina from
Okay. You
Pennsylvania.
know what?
So
I do see just real quick here, just so I can get the ball rolling. I do see that right now at this time you're about to go through changes, or you've been going through some changes with this person, and you think maybe it might be changing, the relationship. And I do see that this is a good time for new things to begin. And but you have to just kind of like move organically. Okay, don't try to make things happen. To be patient, and that's what you're being encouraged to do. Be patient and wait for more things to fall into place. Um, but I'd say it's a great time for new things here. So there are some new possibilities in this relationship, but you're being encouraged not don't try to force anything. Just let it flow, and just go with it. Um, and
and I'll add
I do
mine there,
see.
and then we have to take Tina, okay? We
Yeah,
only have
yeah.
5 minutes. Your
Okay.
reading says to me that you are somebody that uh, it says this person is somebody that loves your intensity, but also can become a little bit intimidated by it. This person is somebody that loves how grounded you are and that you don't need somebody just to be happy. This person feels they want to be romantic with you. And then, smack, I have within 10 weeks to 10 months a home living situation, which means that either two things could happen. If it's one way, it means you could both end up living together. If it's the other way, it could mean that you may find out that this man is married to his home and career to a point where love him, love his prison to his home and career. So I would say be smart, don't put your life on hold. It seems passionate, it seems hot, but but do not allow yourself to let him talk you into waiting forever. I'm shown by 10 weeks to 10 months you should be living together, and if you're not, don't wait around.
Yeah, because you know what? The cards are saying here that you're oh my, you're very attractive. very attractive, very physically attractive to other people, to other men. And actually, you're also being reminded that you can pretty much, you're going to have some more choices. You're going to have more choices that you can make. You know, if you're not, if this does not turn out, you know, like the way Ann Marie says, you know, you're in a situation, then you find out that maybe he's more married to his job or more married to his home. But I'm seeing at the same time, there's also other opportunities if you're not happy with this around that time, you know, because you are very approachable. And I would say you're not going to
We
have trouble
we
getting.
need to go because Tina's got a reading to come.
Okay.
We have 3 minutes. So
Thank you both. Thank you
thanks,
so
baby.
much. Aloha.
Okay,
Alrighty.
aloha. Bye.
Aloha. Bye bye.
Tina, we only can do a one card reading for you. Hi, hun. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So
I could hear
Joseph,
her really well.
you can
Yeah,
hear her really well.
I could actually hear her really well. Yeah.
Good.
Okay. All right, Tina. What would you like to know? We have 2 minutes.
Just about like the direction of my career, relationship
Oh
with my
boy,
family.
that's a big one for 2 minutes.
That's all right. Well, so how about if we do a one card on it? Okay.
Okay. Okay. What do you have?
Okay. I pulled up the Eight of Swords, and I'm seeing that currently with your job, you might, in terms of work and personal issues, you might feel overwhelmed or a little bit restricted, or you might feel that you have to follow somebody else's rules too much. You might be feeling a little trapped. But I'm saying that actually, with a little clear thinking, and if you make a few compromises, things are going to work out better at work. Okay. I'm
And
seeing that it's a period of adaptation that you have to go through. Okay,
okay,
go on.
I have choose to feel secure.
Yeah.
Choose to understand that insecurity has no place for growth in your career. If you don't ask for what you want, if you don't voice what you want to do to succeed and to climb, you will become invisible. So choose to be secure and choose to speak out about what you want, and you will climb and not become invisible. Okay?
Okay.
Thanks, Tina.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Gosh.
All
You got
right. Well, let's end this
3.
with your
How about a prayer? Okay, everybody.
I was
Here's what
gonna
we'll
say
do. And try to
exactly.
everybody, you know, should try to start your day like this. You close your eyes and you stand there and you say, I bring the cosmic forces into my body, asking for strength, protection, and guidance. I bring the cosmic forces into my body, asking for strength, protection, and guidance. I bring the cosmic forces into my body, asking for strength, protection, and guidance. Protect me with your white light. Help me to make the right decisions. Help me to do well today. And help me to be my best. And then you cross your arms and you say, thank you, thank you, thank you.
And thank you, Joseph. See you next
You're
week.
welcome. Thank you. I hope you can next week. Oh
Yeah.
my. Our
Bye.
apologies. Our apologies.
Hi, I'm Ann Marie at Achieve Radio's Tarot Joy. Come on upstairs. Grab yourself a tapestried pillow and get a down-home, honest reading with 30 years Master Tarot channeling experience. In addition, I will have a weekly spiritual guest from around the world. That's 2 readings per call for you. After the show, I